guys, welcome back to the PSA Podcast, Pragmatic Sales Advice, with your friends Papa Jack and Clyde, your lead generation guy. It's a pleasure to be here as we kick off episode 2, where we're going to be talking about the second step in the 5-step sales process. That's building rapport. But before we get to that, Jack, why are we recording late today?
2 reasons. First one is I cut myself shaving. I was afraid I was bleeding out, but I got some Vaseline and I think it's under control. There's nothing bad right now.
Well, now that you mention it, I can see it. Had you not mentioned it,
I'm so
I
sorry.
probably would not have seen it.
Okay, y'all forget that you heard that. The other reason is last time I was, being a salesperson is entertaining, but I also entertain. And the last time I was up in the Heartland, my mother came to a show and she told me that my hat was too far down on my face. So I had to go get some paper towel and put it in the back of my hat so that it would stay up. And then I noticed there was dust on it. I'm like, this day, So I'm here now. Okay, sorry.
Hey, you look great. You look
Thanks.
good, Jack.
Thanks, man, and same to you.
Good. Well, I'm glad you made it. It's Friday, and we're excited. We had a great week. We're salespeople currently, me and you, but our main thing is to help other companies by providing them with leads, and that is one of the reasons why we're even sales coaches at all, is because we need our leads to be sold. And we have found all sorts of different sales techniques out there, Jack.
If you want, yeah, you can call them.
Call them techniques.
You can call some of them techniques. You can call some of them shooting from the hip, which, cowboys that do that don't last very long. Yeah, it's really funny because when our partner Joey, when we entered the lead generation game, we thought that we would we'll place ads. Number one, we'll target, because that's where all great marketing starts. We'll target, we'll place ads, we'll create leads, we'll give them to salespeople, and we'll take the money to the bank. Nope. That was, we came into the retail space and found that there were people who were selling back when there was a lot of floor traffic, before the tsunami of technology hit and e-commerce became a big deal. And bless their little hearts, without floor traffic and being able to just demonstrate or make recommendations or do a presentation on what they thought a person wanted, all of a sudden they're standing there going, I don't hear anything. Nobody in the parking lot. So you see, we had to get into this. It's like, what do they say? It's,
necessity,
the mother invention.
Mother of all inventions.
Here we are.
Yeah. Well, there was a time when people went and spent their time getting information at retail shops. You were alive back then.
I've been here since the Jurassic period.
No, but no, there's been a change. When did you see that change start to happen?
2008.
2008.
I mean, there were telltale signs. There were clues. There were some things, but it was an economy shift back then. On top of the fact that everything was becoming very, very available, and even the older generations were starting to get a little bit comfortable with technology. So if I had to pick a year, it'd be right in that area when commerce changed, and now we have the Amazoning of the world. So here we go. It's done now.
It's gotten worse. It's
better. No, it's better.
Well, I guess that's the word. Yes, it is better. But the idea of floor traffic, of thinking that people are just going to walk into your place of business, especially in our target market, which is luxury, high-end luxury markets, that's becoming less and less a thing. Nobody's just walking up to dealers and
Well, Clyde, step two of the five steps to selling success, that whole method that we keep hearkening back to is establishing rapport, right?
yeah,
So now we have to start relationships online, and we have to earn people's phone numbers, and we have to earn a visit or a virtual presentation or recommendation or whatever it is. So everything has changed so much that if you don't embrace the fact that the only constant is change, then you're setting yourself up for failure.
yeah.
That's why we're here, is to try to say, look, here's some stuff to think about, because it's working better than waiting on floor traffic.
I think that's one of the reasons why building rapport online is so important. I mean, it seems like salespeople can instinctively, a lot of times, build rapport with someone if they come
In person, yeah.
in person. I think people buy from people that they trust and people that they like. And if we take that and extend it out to cyberspace now, we've got to be likable and be credible, right? The first two steps of the sales process. We've got to somehow portray that to the masses.
Absolutely, and that's why in the old days, when there was floor traffic, somebody could come in and you could use your charm, and you could ask questions and act like you cared about them. It's like
Act like it.
you- well,
Hopefully
I
you
mean,
did.
even if you didn't like them, you got to act like it. I mean, you're on stage, you're a salesperson. This may be somebody that you would never hang out with, but you got to make them feel like you would. Sorry, that's the job description. Your job, you decide to accept it. Your mission. It's like Carnegie said. He said that you can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years trying to get them to be interested in you. So why are videos so powerful? Because society and the way that it works these days has sucked out the live encounter where you can sit there and make a friend face to face across the counter, or in front of, or on the bow of the boat, or in the lesson studio, or in the jewelry store or the boutique. Those encounters are less and less, and the online encounters are more and more. So the replacement for being able to check somebody out if you're a consumer is video. That's the psychology. That's the vehicle that has replaced the need for the consumer to check you out and decide whether or not they want to trust you and like you.
This right here, our second, the company with the most friends wins. I think we've established why building rapport is so important. It's the second part of the step. We cannot move forward without having built some rapport. I want to show.
Because nobody cares what you know until they know that you care. To quote Teddy Roosevelt, you got to get people to like you before you can perform a proper discovery or figure out how you can help them and make the best recommendation. So, if you leapfrog over making a friend, don't be surprised if they decide they don't like you enough to buy from you.
Yeah. So if I were to ask you, Jack, as a senior professional here, what do we need? How do we build rapport? What are some?
By asking questions and putting yourself into a position of having a servant's heart. Another Carnegie thing: talk to someone about themselves, and they'll listen for hours. Ask questions. Now, that was Dale's. This is just me talking now. Ask questions and get them to talk about themselves. And Clyde, you're great at this. I've seen you do an encounter and only have 2 or 3 sentences for the first 10 minutes. And there are, well, no, not sentences, 2 or 3 questions for the first 10 minutes, and off they go.
Yeah. Well, okay, so if you ask me what is a great technique to build rapport, you listen. That is the most important part of building rapport. I have been in conversations, kind of like what you're testifying to here today, where I hardly say anything. I've met a stranger. I've asked a few engaging questions. I've had a curious, because I am by nature curious, right? Oh, tell me about that. Even my tone is curious, right? Oh, tell me about that. And boy, off they go. And I don't have to say much for somebody to leave that conversation to go, oh man, wow, I'm so glad I met you. You're such a nice guy. Give me your number. We need to talk again. I didn't do much, but
Didn't
listen.
even hardly say anything.
I just had to listen and ask some engaging questions, sort of what they asked about. And that is definitely the first step to building rapport. Are you an active listener?
Oh, take it to the house, man. I mean, I'm sorry to sound like a Texan. I know you're in Texas. Take it to the house. If you're married for any length of time, then you don't realize that you better become a good listener. I don't know what your longevity really is in that relationship.
Yeah.
Good luck.
You know, I've picked up some good techniques in sales that have totally helped me at home. Because, okay, I don't want to get off into this too far, but women will say something like, I don't know, you know, that the leaves are piling up outside. You know what they are, honey? They have been piling up, and it's fall. It's going to happen. That is not what your wife just told you.
That's not what she wanted to hear.
That is not it. But before I started studying sales, I didn't know what to ask, right? Some people just go out there, they'll hear that sentence and they'll go out there in, 10-degree weather and they'll start,
Start raking.
Can't believe she wants me to rake the leaves out here right now. It's horrible outside. That's not what she wanted either. The proper step to that statement, right, is, honey, did you want me to, sounds like you want me to rake the leaves, or were you just letting me know, no, didn't want you to wait. Now it's like 10 degrees outside. I don't want you to catch a cold, but I was just giving you information today. Or she might say, absolutely, because mom's coming over.
Absolutely.
Whatever. But that.
You know what layer? Yeah, absolutely. Do you know what layering is?
So.
All right. Back to step 2.
Well, the point was, Jack, is that you have to follow up with good questions to know where to go.
Questions are the answer.
So,
okay. Were you gonna show a video?
I do. I want to show you this, and I want you to get your initial thoughts on this.
Well, what I want everybody to know is that we don't just sit around and talk to each other. We actually read and watch things and learn, and that's what we're trying to encourage everybody at every place of business we do business with, is to have open and honest dialogue with the other people where you are, so that you can learn from each other and bounce ideas and try to steal a lick anytime that you can, and always be trying to improve. So that's what that's what we're trying to say, is even if you are long in the tooth like this old guy, you never quit learning if you want to continue to improve.
Yep. All right, I'm going to share this with you. I want to get your thoughts on it.
How can you instantly build rapport with people when you've just met them? Whenever I do an event, okay, sometimes people come up to me. Sometimes someone's shy and they come up to me, they go, oh, Haven, I just wanted to come up to you and say it was amazing. I just wanted to say thank you so much. If I came into that conversation, I went, "Oh my goodness, what was your favorite part?" Hey? Come on, tell me. They'll be like, So what you do is, when someone's talking, listen to their foundations. I recognize rate of
Listening.
speech, a little bit
I
fast,
think we
they're
were
nervous.
just talking about that.
Yeah. He's talking about rate of speed.
I also recognize volume, a little bit low because they're nervous. Cool, all good. So they come up to me, "Oh, hey, Vin, I just wanted to say, thank you so much." And I go, "Oh,
Okay,
thank you so much for coming
stop
out. I know
there,
it's so."
Clyde. Stop there. Okay, so for those of you who are sales managers or owners, and you have young salespeople, some of them will have differing levels of instincts. If they have the instinct to read somebody and speed up and match their speed, or slow down, or be louder, or be more quiet, or maybe be more quiet just to get them to be more quiet, all of those things can be instinctive. But the fact of the matter is that not all athletes are born with size and speed, and not all salespeople are born with curiosity and instincts. So what he's saying is, teach your people to pay attention to the prospect and read them and go where they are.
Absolutely. The prospect's always in the driver's seat. We can't go any faster than they go. Okay.
Unless we want to lose them.
Correct.
It's scary coming up and speaking to the speaker sometimes, but I'm glad you're here. Scary coming up and speaking to the speaker sometimes, but I'm glad you're here. Instant connection, instant rapport. They feel safe. But then what happens is you meet them where they are, and then you take them to where you want to go. So you don't just stay there. So you go, "Hey, I'm so glad you came up to me. Thank you so much. Hey, can I ask you, what was your favorite part?"
Follow up with a question.
And then you
Everything,
watch
all the
them.
time. I mean, the whole statement, take them to where you want to go. Question-based selling means asking the questions so that they come to the decisions one step at a time that will take them down the sales funnel to where you actually want them to end up, which is probably the best place for them, but it's got to be their idea.
Thank you. It's got to be, they can argue with you all day long, but they can't argue with themselves.
You're good, Clyde.
It's only because like you said, I sharpen the saw, right? I'm not making it up, right? I heard it somewhere.
Well, no, I mean, I sat here and talked about Dale Carnegie a couple of times, who is on the Mount Rushmore of good sales fundamentals. Him and Zig, and you can argue about the other two. There's a whole plethora of people that you can beat yourself and your friends up over trying to figure out who the other two are. But I don't think anybody argues with the fact that Dale and Zig are on that mountain. And so, regardless of the arena we're playing in today with all this technology, the fundamentals and human nature is still the same. So you have to get them to like you.
Yeah.
You have to get them to like you before you start asking questions in the next step of the 5 steps to sales success method.
So getting them to like you, I think, kind of is about totally active listening. Sometimes if you have to find some common ground with that person, but you can't overtake the conversation. You've got to ask these questions that help them expand. And sometimes if I can't find a good question to follow up with, I might just repeat the last few things that they said in a curious tone.
That's a good catalyst, yeah.
Yeah, because it signals to that person, oh, I need to share some more. And
Let me go off script and say that I just have 2 more things to add. I know we don't want to be on here for an hour, but I have 2 more things that I think are relevant and possibly helpful. The time that you spend talking to somebody about things that you're not selling, sometimes the questions you ask them about themselves, what they do, where they come from. Oh, you don't sound like you're from around these parts. The things that you do to connect with them that have nothing to do with what you're selling can be the most important time that you spend with them, because then when you go back to selling, you have anchored yourself as a trustworthy person in their psyche. So that's important to do. And the other thing is that back to the video and letting them choose the speed, sometimes it's very effective to slow them down. And you know, my wife now Tammy can probably recite most of the sales fundamentals that I share with people on a daily basis and that you and I talk about in our sales coaching sessions. But early in our relationship and our marriage, when I was first selling, she used to get a little bit frustrated with me for spending so much time not getting down to business. Why do you spend so much time just BSing with people? And I mean, why don't you get down to business? You'd write more business that way. I said, no, wait a second. Remember Coach John Wooden?
Go
Fast, but don't be in a hurry. So the time that you spend connecting with a person, just two people connecting, whether it has anything to do with what you're selling or not, can be some of the most valuable time you spend with them. That's all I got.
No, that's perfect. I mean, you've got to establish that you've got to care about that person. You've got to show that person that you care, right? But then they're going to give you the answers to what you need. They have all the answers you need. They have their motivations, their dreams, their imagination, their fantasy of what they want to fulfill with your product, right?
Yeah, so the worst thing you can do is start running your mouth and not let them express it.
Yeah. Well,
shut up and listen. Oh, I shouldn't have said that.
What? Why not?
Shut up and listen. Come on, guys. Pay attention.
I wanted to kind of end this with what not to do. And that's talk and talk and talk is the thing not to do.
Have you ever been around a salesperson that wouldn't shut up?
Yeah.
Did you ever recommend him? Oh, I was with this guy. He never let me get a word in edgewise. You got to meet him.
No.
That doesn't happen, does it?
No. And it's a shame because they may have all the product knowledge in the world, but they just don't know how to use it. Because it's not about product knowledge. It's about empathizing with the person that is there in front of you, being able to show how your products solve their issues. And if you can't understand where they're coming from, then you can't sell right. There's no way to sell.
I was listening. May I give you a twist on what you just said?
Yeah.
I'm not so sure that it's that they don't know how to use it. But back to chronological order and the 5 steps to selling success, I think sometimes they don't know when to use it.
Yeah. You can't spew off everything you know because it's 1 or 2 points that are going to make the sale for you. It's
well,
not
he's a know-it-all. He's a narcissist. I'll buy from him.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
The only other
attitude. You got to have a good attitude, right? I mean, things not to do.
Oh yeah.
Don't encounter with somebody and act like you wish you weren't at work that day.
Oh man. Yeah.
That's a bad experience. I mean, that's a bad experience at Starbucks and Walgreens, much less if you're doing a professional sales encounter. I mean, just if you're doing something, act like you like to do it and act like you like the people you're trying to do it for.
Yeah.
That's pragmatic. Hey, that's what we call the series.
That's right. This is Pragmatic Sales Advice, bringing you practical sales chops that you can put into practice every single week. We're excited to do it. We know that it's going to help people all across the spectrum. So please like, subscribe, share, comment, share me your victories, your defeats. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Have you put it into practice? We want to hear from you.
And we're friendly people. In other words, if you post something, we're professional salespeople. So if you post, we won't ghost. We'll actually answer you and ask you how the heck you doing today.
Yeah. We'll see you next week.